Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to 2020 Spring LCK. I'm Atlas, joined by LS here as DAMWON just slaughtered Hanwha Life Esports. I'm not entirely sure who's going to get the player of the game between Beryl and Noggery, but I think Noggery was just too damn good this game, even though there was a Maokai support.
No, absolutely. As Maokai support, it performed phenomenally inside of this game. It did a really good job. And you have to give credit to Ghost and Beryl for really piloting that bot lane with a lot of success, even though Ghost did end up eating a couple of bindings. They never really lost total control over the lane. They had that 2v3 where Beryl almost managed to get 2 kills for himself and turn that around. And Canyon really also piloting a very strong early game.
Yeah, I actually really liked what Canyon did with his invade on his Sejuani. They locked down that first blood. They traded the kill, but that was mitigated by the fact that teleport was used instantly by the Azir anyway, so it didn't even really matter. And then he was able to get into the enemy jungle and deny Jarvan a few of his camps, which meant that constantly he was just behind. Haru couldn't really get anything done. As Noggery, 9-0-1 with a 70% forward percentage. Oh. That's insane. 70% of the game, he was on the enemy side of the map.
That is a little surprising. As we take a look at some of the highlights here, Superplex over the wall, and Cube, honestly, I think he could have outplayed Noggery there with some tricky flashes, but didn't do anything too creative. Noggery able to follow him. This was the dragon fight over the Infernal, where Canyon did manage to steal it. As DAMWON, I mean, this was really the nail in the coffin. They were already in the ground, and then the dirt just went on top immediately thereafter. Hanwha Life, they tried to have some more last fights to try to keep inside of the game, but they were never able to really recover. And now, going on to the blue side is where things get really worrisome, because we can't imagine that they're going to be able to sculpt or draft a team composition that they would really like going in completely blind.
Yeah. By the way, you can see Korean caster votes. That one support vote is 100% Wadid. Yeah. He's still voting. I think he's backstage at the moment, but he's definitely still voting, and that was 100% him. Guaranteed.
Well, he you know, support players, man, they stick together.
Biased. Yeah. But also, he did it for the collective. I think the amount of Beryl robbed spammed in the chat was definitely enough to let us know that where their hearts truly lied. As we'll see whether Beryl can pick it up for game number 2. There's a possibility that he might be able to bring out some other shenanigans, and we'll see where things are going to change in the draft here for Hanwha Life as well as we move into ban and pick for game number 2 of our second match. And today is moving pretty damn swiftly, LS. We're 3 hours in and we're already theoretically halfway through our second series.
Yeah, this is one of the fastest days we've ever had here in the LCK. If DAMWON wins this game in fast fashion, we could be going to break by 7 p.m.
That's actually crazy. Yeah, and then that's the 30-minute break, and so like 7:30 we could be starting our next series, and it could actually be just the fastest day. But DragonX versus KT is sort of guaranteeing us a 3-game series. I feel like it's going to be... that's going to be a tight one. So we'll see whether it is going to be a 2-0 there, and we will live the 2-0-2-0-2-0 dream. But now we need DAMWON to get through this game with a victory as well. And so far the draft has changed up. We've got the Sylas ban as well as the Senna taken off the board. So DAMWON will have to change up that style as the Kalista is taken away. And I think Aphelios is going to need a look at here on DAMWON's side.
Well, DAMWON, their last ban, they have 15 seconds to decide on what it is going to be. I don't think that they're really concerned about giving away Ornn, although maybe that's what the Sylas pick is, or Sylas ban away by Hanwha Life is potentially signifying that they would like to get the Ornn for Cube up there in the top lane, but
oh wow,
let's see what it's going to be. So Aphelios is left open.
And so DAMWON knew that this was going to be locked in, and now what are they going to do to show us that they have a plan against it? Because we've seen players with that idea, but it's going to be the Thresh and the Trundle locked in, not necessarily priority picks here, as Aphelios and Ornn into the hands of Hanwha Life.
And this is obviously a really scary 1-2 punch by Hanwha Life. They can also counterpick the Thresh down in bot lane right now. I mean, if they were willing to pick the Morgana last game, they could definitely pick it right now. Instead, though, they're going to blind the Rumble yet again.
I would have thought that Jarvan should have come out there, but Haru maybe not wanting to go back to that pick up against the Trundle, as Varus Thresh is a very strong lane and certainly a champion that Ghost is good at, but
we might get Charles.
Oh my goodness. This is one of the LS mid lane specials. As now Nogari thinking about something like a Swain, but it looks like Varus. I think this would be the priority pick. And I don't know whether there's going to be a Cho'Gath ban, so the Cho'Gath dream is still alive.
The Cho'Gath dream is really interesting because his silence obviously has a lot of versatility inside of team
League
fights.
of Legends.
What?
It's an ancient mechanic in
really is.
League of Legends.
There's very few champions that still have silences, and honestly, if you've seen the new Fiddlesticks Atlas, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
Not a good look. The silence not as reliable as the pre-rework Fiddle ended up having.
Yeah, so sad. I liked the little the crows. Crows were cool. I was a fan. Never mind. Haven't seen Fiddlesticks for a very long time here in the LCK, and I have a feeling we're not going to. As Rek'Sai banned away here, we're aiming towards the jungle. I think that Jarvan is probably where the consideration is going to be, but maybe Canyon feels like the Trundle matchup is just fine, so they take away Lahenz's Morgana instead.
Well, there is the Morgana ban that I was wondering why it didn't come in on B3 for Hanwha Life. Akali and Aatrox now being banned away. So what is Nuguri going to actually take up into top lane?
Give us the Cho'Gath. Give us the Cho'Gath. I want it.
I really hope that it's not something like the Jace, like or Lucian or something of that nature, because Ornn historically is okay. You know what? Some things never change. Some things never change, Atlas.
Well, pick and poke is certainly something that DAMWON have up their sleeve right now, as the Jace is going to be locked in, certainly a Nogari special and something that he's very happy to go towards. And now with the Blade of the Ruin King change in hammer form, you do a heck of a lot of damage to tanks with that Blade of the Ruin King. So Nogari probably pretty happy to go up against Juve with this particular pickup, but Showmaker could also take it in the mid lane potentially. Jarvan gets all the way through the draft, and this is going to be support Rumble as Lava locks in his LeBlanc.
Okay, now the LeBlanc is the thing that makes me really scratch my head. You have an Ornn, a Rumble, and now a LeBlanc. You have a tank Jarvan as well. Oh yes.
My god, here we go.
Kassadin is coming in. I actually wanted to mention him in the APK series. There was a Kassadin spot that did end up arriving, and the stars have to really align for Kassadin to come in, and I think this is definitely one of the cases. There is not a lot of CC on the side of Hanwha Life, obscene amounts of magic damage in one lone emo boy that listens to My Chemical Romance as the 80 carry on the side of Hanwha Life Esports, and this is such a good Kassadin pick.
Do you know what My Chemical Romance song he's listening to right now?
The Black Parade?
No, he's listening to I'm Not Okay.
I'm not okay.
100%, because, yeah, that's a Kassadin, and he's probably not going to be okay this game. And it's Showmaker piloting it as well. I love seeing Showmaker back on a pick like this, because we know that this guy is all about the pizzazz. He's all like, and in 2019, he was so impressive with his play, and we just haven't seen him in 2020 whatsoever with a pick like that. So now on the Kassadin that we saw banned yesterday, actually, in our Gen G T1 series, but never actually saw it picked up. And I think this is the first time we've seen Kassadin so far in LCK 2020.
Well, Kassadin coming out in this game as a counter to the LeBlanc, as well as just being so slippery against the Jarvan. Rumble can't hold him down. Ornn can't hold him down. This champ's going to really go late game. My only concern is that the Jace is obviously a bit off the... He's surrounded by a lot of pieces to the puzzle that probably don't make a lot of sense to himself, and so he's sort of like the main protagonist that shows up at the end of a Marvel movie to save the day. That is exactly what's going on here. Come on, you're not Valdez.
Well, I think he works... No, I understand. You know, it's a bit of a Captain Marvel situation here. However, he does have modes that he can go into, right? Like,
yes.
Now that you can pick Blade of the Ruin King and go into the Black Cleaver, you will be able to side lane against an Ornn ever increasingly easier as this game goes on. So 4-1 compositions can actually, or styles, sorry, can work. Of course, you don't have all that much wave clear with Kassadin being in the mid lane, but 1-3-1 is a thing that DAMWON can easily do with this composition, because the disengage with Thresh and Trundle is actually fantastic. Plus, Piercing Arrow on Ghost, and he's taken the lethality route. It means that he can insta-clear waves with his spells.
Yeah. And, I mean, the Jace will have value in helping Kassadin at least get the opening to just jump in onto the LeBlanc of the Aphelios if he can ever land a Shock Blast from range. And that'll really help out Showmaker. Fleet footwork, presence of mind, has second wind as well. So going into the Resolve tree, just to ensure that he doesn't really take any damage, has scaling CDR, armor, and MR. So very defensive Kassadin rune page with a Doran shield start. And I'm not really so sure what Hanwha Life are going to do in the later stages of the game, because it is very scary. But if Showmaker never ends up coming online, things could definitely get dicey.
Yeah, and this is going to revolve around Showmaker playing intelligently in this early game. You saw, like, the laning phase is not going to be great until Showmaker hits level 6, but then he can basically do what he wants against the LeBlanc. You get a few points in your queue, you're able to mitigate so much of her poke harass, and it should be a pretty decent situation. And DAMWON in the early game can play around their winning lane in Noguri top lane. Noguri's Jace is a special thing. It is the most oppressive Jace, I think, that we have in the LCK.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And so this is going to be interesting to see how QA manages to resist it. It should be an Ornn-favored lane, but we'll see what Nuguri can end up doing. And it's mostly Ornn-favored because Jace can't win the War of Attrition up there, and once the Bramble Vest comes in and the other armor items that QA is just going to be able to end up picking up relatively early on, it means that Jace sort of loses any sort of potential to do anything. And also, it's even going to have a lot of value against the Trundle inside of the jungle in the event that QA would ever end up getting ganked. So all that we have to pay attention to in the early stages of the game is how far ahead can Nuguri manage to get over QA, if at all, and then what happens to Showmaker in mid lane.
Yeah. And we'll have to just keep our eye on it, see what happens here. Lava with his first LeBlanc of the season. Of course, it's his first match as mid laner of the season as well, so it does make some sense. Zenit currently 1-0 on this Aphelios, and Aphelios is a pretty good champion, so you can understand that that's going to work out. QV also win rate on the Ornn, not super fantastic right now, as Noguri also suffering a loss on his Jace. So we'll see whether it is going to be this Kassadin pick that is going to be the clincher and the changing force here for DAMWON as they look towards a 2-0 here in the second match of the day. I still think that this draft is DAMWON favored, despite the fact that Hanwha do have a lot of tools available, just because I can see how DAMWON's going to play this out as the game goes on. And I know it feels weird, right? Because you look at Hanwha's comp and you think, damn, they've got like Ornn, they've got Aphelios, their late game should be absolutely fine. But I feel like the way DAMWON play will be able to get them over the line with a composition like this.
Yeah, and I agree with you. So obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of keeping up my post-draft predictions. I do think that this is a closer draft, but I agree that it is slightly DAMWON favored. It's not like Jace doesn't have... Okay, that's a lot of damage.
He waited for his Q for a really long time there, but Haro eventually used it and loses out on that trade and a lot of his health. Now Canyon's going to have all the control here in the enemy jungle, despite there not being any jungle to actually steal away. So that's good news for Haru.
Noguri just continuing to shove into top lane, not really achieving all that much though. He's completely out of fuel now. Started longsword with the refillable, has both the biscuits, but not utilizing either of them at this point in time. And you can just see the gold. And interestingly, it is so close. Noguri trying to do something actually misses the shock blast, and at the end of it, this is going to mean that QV is going to be the one that comes out on top in the initial first recall. So he's only down 2 CS. He's going to teleport back now to the lane as well. Actually, Nuguri stayed, which is really surprising.
Quite interesting. See what his plan is here as far as which item he's heading towards next. I think Bilgewater Cutlass is probably where he's going, as the longsword start will suggest. Beryl's going to move back down here after getting some vision in the enemy jungle, and Lehens is still lying in wait. But this Cloud Drake will be started, so no Cloud Souls this game. We'll see what the second Drake is going to be and what our available souls are going to be this game as well, as Ghost gets the bad news that there is a Rumble waiting. He's going to take a Lantern, though. He'll be absolutely fine. No summoner spells required.
Cloud Dragon picked up by DAMWON. Not the best dragon that they could end up getting. They don't really have a lot of key ultimates. It's also only going to be 1 point for Kossadin on his Riftwalk, but I guess that can be valuable.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Is definitely able to be utility. He'll end up getting a lot of CDR later on. Also, keen on seeing what his build is going to end up being. There's a lot of different variations that you can go on him, whether you do the Rod of Ages into the Seraph's Embrace, or if you just outright skip Seraph's Embrace and power down the AP route.
Yeah, I think Seraph's is still very strong on the Kassadin, and once you get it stacked up, as well as a fully stacked Rod of Ages, it is a terrifying power spike. But maybe DAMWON are not looking to wait that long for their Kassadin to do damage, and maybe they're going to play around more of a mid-game spike. Is now Canyon going to take away this Rift Scuttler, gets the chain connected though, and has to use the flash to get out of the way. There's the Ornhorn, pops up Canyon, who will take the Lantern to safety. Beryl saving everyone left, right, and center.
Yeah, and Beryl actually failed his flash right there, but was still able to get the Lantern nonetheless. Also has Boots of Swiftness.
Love it.
Now. And I feel like this is the middle ground where supports want to go Boots of Mobility, but they realize that they don't really need it at this point in time, and so it's the next best thing that you can get that still gives you all that utility that you're looking for to have edges inside of your roams. Take a look, Beryl does fail the flash. I think he's actually trying to go for, not the bug, but to flash into the middle of the terrain and have himself pushed out by the game on the left-hand side.
Speaking of the left-hand side, that's where Nogari's going, but that's the enemy base direction, as the Ignite is going to pick up first blood here for Cube.
Cube getting the first blood is definitely a bit of a nightmare up in top lane, because Jace in theory should never be able to recover this lane state at all, and this is why I was dreading it in the pick ban phase when they locked it on R4 unironically. It's because Jace doesn't actually beat Ornn. He never has. Ornn actually was originally rising to prominence as one of the Jace answers when Jace was a menace in 2019. So it's so surprising that I don't know if Nuguri either just forgot about that or he maybe just doesn't care.
Well, now also he's going lethality, which is awful into Ornn. It's precisely what you don't want to do. So I'm also very confused.
I think that the lethality is solely just for Showmaker in mid lane so that his shock blasts are able to create lethal windows onto the LeBlanc and the Aphelios to make Showmaker's Rift Walks all the more effective. And honestly, I have no clue what Nuguri is doing right there. He has no vision of River. He's dancing in the middle of a wave that serves no purpose and just ends up getting killed. Sunfire Cape almost complete up in top lane, and that is just going to be such a massive swing because there's no teleport available on Jace. And really, he's the weak link of the map right now.
Well, hopefully that stays, because if it's Showmaker that's the weak link, then that's bad news. Showmaker going back to his old style, by the way, of he's in a melee versus range matchup, but still just winning in farm. He's 10 CS ahead, as Lava's going to be picking up this minion wave now. Nuguri going to miss yet another shock blast, but we'll see whether Canyon moving up here is going to be able to help their top laner. As Showmaker takes down a Rift Scuttler, and will continue powering up.
Well, let's take a look at what happens here. Cube!
Yeah. Good night, Cube.
Mickey Mantle up there in top lane.
That was very quick.
That was a bit of a home run, as Nuguri should be able to actually get turret plates now. Interestingly enough, Cube doesn't have TP, has the heal on the Ornn. And this actually swings things a little bit back into Nuguri's favor. Still not the end of the world for Cube. He still is ahead in the lane, even after these turret plates going down.
Well, speaking of turret plates, you can see Hanwha Life utilizing the Rift Herald very nicely up against this turret, and they do get a lot of plate value. As now Showmaker has found Lava, or Lava's found Showmaker, one of the two. And DAMWON do have a slight advantage. Back going to be stopped there by Zenit. And he's ahead by about 300 gold currently on this Aphelios, largely to do with those turret plates, and that is great news for Hanwha Life fans. They still do have a very powerful late game, but it's just Showmaker on this Kassadin. What can he do when he hits his power spike? And when is that power spike going to hit as well? You can see he's got a Fairy Charm. I think that is giving away that he's looking towards something like a Tear of the Goddess to come in next.
Yeah. We'll see what they can end up doing. DAMWON, okay, that's a bit of damage.
Yeah, and Showmaker's level 9 right now. There's a Cataclysm from Haru, but he's in amongst everyone. He will be going down here as Canyon gets King's Tribute and survives. Now Lava looking to go forward, but he gets exhausted before anything can happen. Good double knockup onto Showmaker and Noguri, but they're very slippery, and the piercing arrow will find the LeBlanc. Now Canyon moving alongside Beryl to try and take the rest of them down, but they won't even be needed. It's a double kill here for Ghost, and DAMWON have blown this game wide open.
And DAMWON getting the second Mountain Dragon is also just really nice for them as the pickup. It ended up coming down to a smite fight, and Canyon managing to secure it. That means that they are potentially about 10 minutes away from another Infernal Soul here in this series. Showmaker now in mid lane with Nuguri, and they're just getting more and more turret plates. This Kassadin is getting so big in this game right now. Rod of Ages, he does have the Fairy Charm, so if he does pick up the tier and start moving towards the Seraph's Embrace, that will be a nice pickup. This was the smite fight. Lahen's trying to come in. It was a nice equalizer attempt. Canyon almost went down, and as Lava jumps forward, Beryl casts the exhaust, and then interestingly, Cube went for the Kassadin with the R, but obviously Riftwalk going to be able to keep Showmaker completely safe, as Nuguri with some fancy feed.
That was really, really sexy by Nuguri just there, as Cube, the last man standing, watches the rest of his team crumble, and they're not even able to take anything for it, right? I think Haru, the dive in, the Cataclysm in amongst 5 people, he knew that he was going to die. At that point, Hanwha just need to back away. They're not going to win the 4 versus 5. They were already behind in that instance, as now DAMWON pressuring here towards the bottom side. Ghost getting all of these plates, as now Lava gets over to the side. Good chain. Will land onto Canyon, who walks down the red carpet and will be taken down. Oh my goodness, this guy's surviving for too damn long, but the Sigil is going to come forward and take down the Troll. Very close to him surviving, but not going to this time around. And the first kill comes in for Lava's LeBlanc.
And that is helping put Hanwha Life back on the map. LeBlanc, though, is going to be really hard-pressed to do anything in the later stages. There's just so many champions that can actually stand their ground against her at this current point. And the Infernal Dragon is slated to go the way of DAMWON at the next team fight. Jace continuing on with the lethality items now, as well as Yumu's Ghostblade first item. We'll see if he actually gets the Umbral Glaive second. I think it would be really valuable to control vision. Lava, not going to really find anything there onto Ghost, as Nuguri continuing to just try to play ping pong in top lane against the Sword, not really achieving all that much. And it will be the Archangels into Seraphs for Showmaker.
Yep, has the tier completed, and this is just the kill onto Canyon. Just the base skin here for Lahen's on the Rumble. I would have liked to have seen some pineapples there, as we're going to see Noguri and Canyon up here towards the top side. Cataclysm actually doing a great job zoning out Canyon here. But Noguri's going to be safe. Cube's going to die. You can bellow breath as many times as you want, but you will still be going down as the Empowered Shock Blast secures the kill. Lahen's in position, but he can't go 1 versus 3.
Absolutely can't. Nuguri now going to raise that turret as well, get all of the solo gold for himself.
All Lahen's. Can he do it? As Noguri gets the acceleration gate. The equalizer will be enough to take down that kill, but now Showmaker says thank you very much for the memories, and he's going to come through and take down Lahen's. Lahen's stopwatch a little bit too late there as Canyon moves on in, and that's going to be Showmaker's kill.
I think he just played Lahen's the entire album. Lahen says, I'm not from this time. Turn it off. then Showmaker tells him when he was a young boy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
Oh, no.
It's not what you want to see. And now Zenit's like, the mixtape is getting sent through. Like Lehen says, he played me this song. I think you really like it. And Zenit's like, oh no, it's getting ominous over here.
Oh man.
Oh dear. Well, Showmaker's just gigantic right now as Ghost gets the chains connected. He won't be able to take the lantern just yet, but he's made it to the safety of his turret, and Lava doesn't have a whole lot of mana just left over. We're going to have a look at this one once again as Canyon makes his way.
So they both don't have flash.
사딘이 킬 먹고. 야, 사딘이 킬 먹어. 사딘이 킬 먹어. 하나 더 먹어. 진짜 미치겠네. 아이고.
Couldn't actually make out what they were saying. My sound is very low on my stream. I'm actually not totally
You could just turn it up.
I could do that.
Yeah. You want to try it?
All right, well,
Well, we're going to watch Lava die first, as Haru's trying to get out of this Drake pit. Not the direction he wants to go, as they want to deny this Infernal Soul, but instead, Hanwha realize that they can't do it without a mid laner. And that's going to mean Infernal Soul point available for DAMWON. And once again, we're at a point 17 minutes into the game, a 5,000 gold lead, DAMWON just crushing it.
Well, they get the Infernal Dragon, and it is super valuable on a lot of their key champions. Showmaker is going to like that a lot.
Oh dear, Cuvée. That was a bit of a silly charge, wasn't it? As Haru over to the side is going to make sure that Cuvée does survive. They don't push too far forward. Cuvée hasn't had a great day so far today. Empowered Shock Blast not going to do too much work either. Umbral Glaive and the Ghost Blade completed here for Nogari. He doesn't want to be against the Ornn. That's not the champion he wants to be fighting with this particular build.
He's mostly just there for the utility for his teammates. And I really like the double Umbral Glaive, actually, on the side of DAMWON. Helps control all the vision around River whenever those key neutral objectives are coming up.
Yep, keeps everything very dark.
Yeah. And Showmaker should be able to get to a second core item here soon.
Yeah, good knock up there onto Nogari though, but they're still tanking up this turret. Lehens gets the equalizer down, but Nogari not going to survive this one. Canyon over in here, but it's going to be the 1-for-1 trade. Top laner for top laner, and Lava's just going to go down. Showmaker destroys him. This is Cassidy versus LeBlanc, guys. This is what it looks like. It's not pretty if you're the LeBlanc player.
And he just got completely deleted. That was actually really clean mechanical input by Showmaker.
Moonlight Vigil going to go wide. Lehen's going to survive for the moment, but DAMWON aren't done yet. They throw down Shirley. Showmaker split pushing, but DAMWON still want this 3 versus 3 dive. Piercing Arrow not going to quite be enough here, but Ghost should be able to raise this turret pretty comfortably. And he has a 50 CS advantage as well, by the way. Zenit is... is he still in this game? Where is he? I don't know. He hasn't been able to do anything.
Well, Ghost is doing a pretty good job this game. He is ahead of the 10 CS a minute curve. Shirley gonna crash down here into the next turret. Not gonna end up actually being able to raise it, but they're gonna pillage the right side jungle a little bit, taking away the golems. Showmaker did get the turret. This is such a massive recall for Showmaker as well.
He's gonna have so much money.
Yeah. Taking a look here. So, Cuvée and Haru, the intention is good. Equalizer by Lehens, also really on point. Subjugate plus turret, helping out Trundle down here in bot lane. He does not pursue on. Force Pulse. Nether Sphere.
Yeah,
He said, I got her. Ha.
And he did. Because I don't think there was anything that Lava could do in that moment. It looked like he was actually AFK while he was walking up and got his passive procced before he actually responded at all. And that's not what you want to see, but also, it sort of feels like what this Cassidy matchup into LeBlanc does. You get through a laning phase and you're like, oh, LeBlanc, I'm feeling good, you know, I've got the range advantage, and then all of a sudden he starts teleporting around the map and you feel like you have no answer. Is Zenit taking way too much damage, has to flash, puts down the sentry beforehand, and he's able to get some work done, has exactly the right guns that he wants at this point in time, but doesn't have the items. Just has nothing. He's level 10.
Well, this game is really looking over. This is almost 2 back-to-back games, Atlas, of a 10,000 gold lead around the 20-minute mark. We have not had a stomp like this in
Yeah, in
so
a really
long.
long time, exactly. Now, the last-ditch effort comes through from Hanwha. Canyon has the subjugate down. Nogri survives. Ghost as well. They can do damage from range. Good hook lands onto Cuvee as Moonlight Vigil doesn't do anything. Showmaker still waiting for his time to get in here as Canyon throws down the pillar. Lava taking too much damage from poke, and that's what this DAMWON comp can do. You can poke all day, and they are not done yet. Canyon just running underneath this turret, and Hanwha, they just have nothing left.
No, there's really nothing left for them to do in this game. It's a 10,000 gold advantage almost. Mountain and Infernal. Infernal Soul coming up in 40 seconds. And
Showmaker has a
Showmaker
2.5 level lead, by the way. Lava only just hit 12.
Right. It's way too big. And there is no reunion tour for Zenit down here in bot lane. As this game is all but over. We're just waiting for the Infernal Soul to end up being picked up. Perhaps Hanwha Life will make their last stand there. But if not there, surely at the Baron, they'll probably end up doing it. Unless they just want to open mid. That would definitely be an option.
Might be the best option here as well. Haru gets himself out. I mean, the Cataclysm was there just to try and buy some space, but honestly, that works for DAMWON's comp, not against it. As Cuvee dashing into a hook is not how you stay alive in these team fights. As Hanwha Life are ready to fight for this Infernal Soul, but DAMWON are here, and they'd like a team fight win as well as that break. What the hell? Okay, go home. It's done. You're not able to fight for this anymore. One shock blast, and the entire backline is dead. As now Chains of Corruption lands. Goodbye, Lava. The Equalizer does about nothing as Cuvee going down very, very quickly. Haru going to be falling as well. It's a double kill for Showmaker. Make that one a triple with Ghost picking up a cheeky one as well. That will be the ace, and that will most likely be the game.
Well, Atlas, that was definitely a very surprising turn of events as Nuguri, he's going to pick up the Infernal Soul before making... Okay, you know what? He's not even interested in the Lantern. He's going to go over and get the red while his teammates are going to just take the Baron.
Yep, they can take anything that they want. 12,000 gold in the lead at 23 minutes into the game. Remember, this time last game, they were storming the Nexus turrets of their opponents, and it's feeling like a very similar game right now as we check out Showmaker's perspective as he gets this quadra kill.
And take a look at this. The Rift Walks are just everywhere.
Oh my god, the damage. That's a triple kill. I apologize. Lava was already dead by the time he got there. But 5-0 and 5 now on the Kassadin. Yeah, this is the most over. Well, this was definitely a bit scary. And honestly, Nuguri giving us his best White Death impression as he's the sniper on Jace in a lot of these building team fights. Just dishing out so much damage on the key carries, allowing his teammates just such an easy time to bring everyone down. And if we go for a check-in on Zenit's Walkman, I don't think it's My Chemical Romance. That's a little bit too upbeat, as you can see. He's switched over to Dashboard Confessional now. It's all just pure emo. That's all you can listen to, because he's just being told that he's not allowed to play the game by these shock blasts that are hitting him so incredibly often. At this point, Hanwha Life, they have nothing to do, Atlas, and I think it would be an injustice to say that there's somehow a way for them to win in this. Well, they're going to try. Barrel's going to flash Noguri as well, and now the re-engage comes in. Showmaker is going to grab the first one onto Lehens. Now chasing after Zenit. Ghost grabs one of those kills. It's a double for the Kassadin so far, as Lava's running as fast as his little legs can carry him. Triple kill in for Showmaker. He is just obliterating this Hanwha squad, as Lava is just doing his very best to get out as his Nexus is going to go down. Just need to protect that KDA for as long as possible, but it's not exactly one that's worth protecting. DAMWON with a 25-minute win after a 26-minute win as they earn the 5th place in the LCK with this 2-0. And that is one of the most dominating victories that we've had in 2-0 fashion. And DAMWON are really sort of stabilizing, at least, their position in the standings as it currently is. And Ghost coming in, having a really good day today as well. And this was
2 times in a row that DAMWON, they had nice team compositions. Now, obviously, the Jace was a little bit questionable there, but Nuguri performed phenomenally on it in the mid game and the late game, as he was dishing out a lot of damage with the Shock Blast. He was creating a lot of room and opening for his teammates, and that is what his build was intended to do.
I think Beryl was MVP this game. I'm just going to stand out and say it. I think his lanterns were absolutely pivotal in the early game. He was always in the right place at the right time. And I just think that it was a masterclass at where to be as Thresh to get through an early game that, honestly, if it had gone the other way, Hanwha Life could have been in that position. But he denied every single kill, it felt like.
I'm really trying to think who to... So you want to give it to Beryl, but Atlas, let's just be honest.
Okay.
Supports don't get it.
But we can try, right? And Wadid's there. He's in the LCK studio. He was casting on the Korean broadcast earlier on and is still there to vote. So maybe we've got 3 between us.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights here. This was Nuguri going down immediately in the early stages of this game. And then here at the Dragon fight, Canyon ends up winning the Smite fight. Ends up getting pulled to safety by Beryl. Showmaker doing so much. And that was a nice snipe by Ghost inside of that team fight. And Hanwha Life, they just kept getting pulled apart at all the right angles. And, you know, interestingly enough, this was very akin to Afrika sort of trying to dismantle APK by pulling at them from every angle, but still, obviously, in the end, was not quite enough.
Yeah, pincer movements never really work, to be perfectly honest. As this was Canyon almost surviving, but the flash was invested there by Lava. And I do want to give the MVP over to Beryl. I think he had a fantastic performance, but I think Showmaker took the cake towards the end. And his Kassadin worked out very, very well. As after he got online, it just felt like there was nothing that Hanwha could do.
Yeah. Nuguri down here, Cube and Haru trying to make something happen. It was the most perplexing thing in the world. I mean, everyone had full vision of each other, and yet they willingly opted into that fight. Canyon in the right place at the right time, and I think that he was for the better part of this game as well. He did have that Smite fight win, so you do have to give credit for him. Definitely had a much more stable jungle performance, whereas last year, if you recall, we called him the Gambler. Yeah. Because he would flip a lot of coins, and he's been flipping a lot in Spring 2020. Most of the time doesn't pan out, but today, having a really good performance. I'm just so happy that we got to see Showmaker on this champion here, whose name I have stopped saying.
Because you're triggering the collective? Oh, that's all right. They'll get used to it. They got used to Aatrox, so they'll get used to this. Don't you worry. As Nuguri did a hell of a lot of damage, Cuvée did not. In fact, no one. Like 5.5k of Felios damage. That's a sign that Zenit was just not allowed to play League of Legends this game, and this was just obliteration. You have to remember that Hanwha Life, they beat T1 in round 1. They also beat Dragon X in round 2. Like, and DAMWON made them look like the worst team in the LCK.
Yeah. It really did just look super one-sided. They just fundamentally outclassed them in every facet of the gameplay, including the draft. Which Hanwha Life, a lot of their edges that they found this season was actually coming from the draft phase. So very uncharacteristic to see them fall apart in such a manner. And it's going to be really hard for them to fix their problems. Whereas DAMWON, yes, they're wavering, but I think a lot of their problems stem from their overeagerness at certain points in the game, as well as setting themselves up for failure in the draft phase all too often. And so they can fix those things. It'll be really good moving into the remainder of the split.
And the thing that I really liked about DAMWON was their draft so far today. They were creative, but we understood what they were trying to do, right? It wasn't like they're all picking for themselves for their laning phase, which is what round 1 honestly felt like most of the time for DAMWON. It felt like they didn't have that team cohesion that you need in the draft. It seemed like they were able to play together once they actually got onto the Rift, but when the pieces don't fit, then it doesn't really work. As Beryl does get it! Brilliant.
I had no faith.
I'm happy about this. I actually reneged. I voted for Showmaker, but Beryl's Thresh was so good this game.
Pay attention to his flash right here.
Player of the game. Player of the game, by the way.
He ended up getting the flash off anyway. Right here, also able to save Canyon, and then the exhaust onto the LeBlanc so that Lava not able to follow up any more than that. Cube's ultimate, really questionable. Aiming for Showmaker there, despite him having that Rift Walk. Fancy feet, that's not Falco. Jace, actually.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know,
I'm not going to lie. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was, I did think it was actually Fox McCloud for a second, but it wasn't.
Oh no, who's the cow?
That
wears the white jacket?
There's a cow with a white jacket in, like, what, Star Fox?
Yes. There's Pepe, and then there's... I'm done.
There's a frog, there's a hare.
Oh.
So there's Slippy, and Pepper is a dog. That's the general. General
Oh
Pepper.
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Am I calling the hare?
Dude, what is this vote, by the way? 3
This
out of
vote
9?
Makes everyone was just on an entirely different page.
There was
2 observers voted for top lane.
We voted for mid. There was 1 bot lane vote, and somehow Beryl won with 3 votes. That's insane. Okay, well, I still actually like that he picked it up, so I'm completely okay with it here. We did getting some value here, as we are going to throw it over to G-Sun for a sort of phone call interview translation.
Congratulations, guys. You guys finally joined the west side. Well, we were on a 4-match losing streak and now back on a winning streak, so it's a bit surprising. So how was your experience at the East League? Well, we were the king of the East, but we're now moving at the civilians in the West. Game number 1. We really want to ask you about Maokai. So, what was your take on that comp?
좀 게임할 때 앞에서 걸 좀 좋았거든요. 그래서 좀 이제 같이 좀 찾다 보니까 아웃카이가 뛰더라고요.
So I kinda like to tank in the front line. So Maokai was the best pick. And Nuggery, last time your Akali play. Well, your teammates commented that it's gonna be locked away forever. Never? Like forever? Yeah, they're not gonna allow you play Akali. I guess Kenyon said so in the interview. I mean, that game, I was a huge troll. So, I was a little bit sad that they said so, but I couldn't really actually say back because I was so bad. So after the last game, because I made so many mistakes, but still they banned it away from me, so I wasn't sure whether I should be happy or sad, but it was a bit surprising. So Nuggery, maybe I think you had one of the best games so far, because you had your game. Well, today, I mean, overall, my teammates just played so well, so I was able to come to play the game comfortably. So I want to mention about the momentum you guys gained back after Ghost started playing in for DWG Gaming. So how are the players feeling about this change? So yeah. I think, yeah, Ghost definitely kind of helped us to level up And also Ghost is very vocal in the game. So during feedback, we learned a lot from him as well. Yeah, I mean, they are having 4 different players on the bot side, so I guess DAMWON can also kind of utilize a very different comp throughout the split, and also I guess Ghost is very vocal throughout the game, so that also helps out DAMWON Gaming a lot. And Burl, your super save on Thresh was actually coming out the way how you kind of read the map. So are you satisfied with your performance today? Well, before the game? My head coach kind of told me that maybe the head coach told him the lantern is so important, so he kind of kept that in mind. So we're having a bit of a bad reception over here. So I think we kind of have to wrap it up. What did you do yesterday, Burrow? Same as usual, practice, and had some rest. It was your birthday, so happy birthday to you, Burrow. Well, I guess you are having a practice day on your birthday as well, but once again, congratulations on your birthday. And your next opponent will be Africa. How are you guys gonna prepare for that series? Today, well, we saw the Africa match ahead of our game, so we had a very satisfying result coming out from that series, so I think that will bring better impact for us, and we will do our best to prepare for the series. Yeah, definitely Africa dropping that series is going to be a good impact for DAMWON Gaming. But due to a bad reception, we have to wrap this up over here. Once again, congratulations on the win. So this will be the end of the interview with Nuguri and Burl from DAMWON Gaming, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for the interview, translation, and congratulations to DAMWON, and happy birthday to Beryl. Picks up a support player of the game the day after his birthday. Absolutely perfect stuff, as DAMWON also move over to the west side. I loved what they were talking about, the kings of the east, and now the peasants of the west.
Yeah, as Hanwha Life, they fall down further to minus 10 points right now.
Relegation zone for Hanwha Life.
And it's really scary because I don't think that you'd call them the favorites against APK, and I don't know if you'd call them the favorites against Sandbox. So it's really looking like this is going to be 2 splits in a row where Hanwha Life are going to try to gatekeep the entrance into LCK, and it's really looking like Griffin is going to be doomed. And what a turn of events. I think if anyone said this to you 1 year ago today, you'd obviously never believe it.
Yep.
DAMWON make their way back onto the left-hand side as Africa gets kicked to the east.
It's actually crazy because I think at the very beginning of the season, you and I had a discussion about the top 5, and somehow DAMWON have come back into the 5th place that we'd predicted. So This is what we assumed their power level was going to be, but it took a crazy ride to get there, to be honest, and I wasn't expecting it to be KT. I thought that Africa would be on the west side of the bracket, but crazy things have happened so far this season, and they're going to continue as we move into our next matchup. What is your prediction for KT versus DRX? Do you have one?
I think DRX... I don't think that KT is going to make it through this one.
You sure?
I think.
Oof. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that KT are on a tear right now. DragonX have looked shaky, but we'll have to find out after the break. About 30 minutes, and we'll be back for that big match of the day.